Well, this is kind of a video response to, partially video response, partially, just putting my own thoughts out there about this to, Cowboy TD on YouTube. I don't know if you'll see this video. Hopefully I'll be able to find a way to, link it to be sort of as a comment on one of your videos. Personally, I love watching your videos. I'm a little late coming in on most of them. I really just within the past month or two, a couple weeks after the championship game, I was sort of browsing on some stuff here and saw your video after the championship game. Absolutely loved it. Agreed with every word you said. But here's the thing. This is a video response somewhat to your Big 12 Lives kinda video. At first I really agreed with you, and I still do, a lot. I still agree with you a good amount. I'm a huge Texas fan. I'm not one of those guys that falls in love with the conference. I love Texas, but I'm not in love with the Big 12. That's more of an SEC fan thing. If you love a team in the SEC, I guess you're therefore required to love the entire SEC. I don't know. But what I think, I don't think that the change in the Big 12 will really hurt anything. Now, I'm not 100% sure of what's going on, but I know Tech stayed in the Big 12. I know Texas stayed in the Big 12. Overall, the Big 12 hasn't really been that powerful of a conference. To my knowledge, I'm excuse me, I'm not 100% sure exactly what happened with everything, but to my knowledge, it was Missouri and Nebraska that were moved, I believe, and I'm pretty sure they both moved to the Big 10. Now, Texas A&M and Texas Tech and Baylor are big contributions to staying in the Big 12, because these teams live to beat Texas. They live to beat Texas. It makes their season. Basketball, now I gotta hand it off to Baylor. Hats off to Baylor this past season in basketball. Past 2 or 3 years, their basketball program's really been coming along. They lost to the eventual national champions in Duke in the Elite Eight by 7 or 8 points or something. They played them pretty well. So their football team's coming around. A lot of these teams don't want the NCAA to just toss their athletics to the wayside. So, gotta give my hats off to Baylor for, making the NCAA sort of keep them hanging around with their basketball program coming along. But these teams in football live to beat Texas. So these teams, wherever Texas was going, was staying with Texas. So I think this might even make the Big 12 a little bit more competitive, because they're getting mad that Texas is making all the rules. Texas, everything that happens, Texas is saying either yay or nay to this, because they make the money, they're making the rules, and obviously you established that in your video. But I think this might actually make the conference a little bit more competitive. Past couple seasons we've had Oklahoma State coming on. Missouri, I don't like the decision for Missouri to leave, because they were really the only constant competitor in the Big 12 South, or North, excuse me. In the South, we've got Oklahoma, Texas, and Oklahoma State. Oklahoma State, I don't really see them making a Big 12 championship game, or really even a BCS bowl game that soon, especially because they lost Dez Bryant, Zach Robinson, pretty much everything that they had on that team. Their defense wasn't much. But I think I don't really think this hurts them. I think it could make it a more competitive conference. Maybe not. Who knows? But I don't think this hurts the Big 12 at all. Nebraska is a team to me that has been constantly overrated. Yeah, they gave Texas a run for their money. If Colt McCoy had taken another step before throwing that ball out of bounds, Texas would have lost that game and wouldn't have been in the championship game. But usually constantly overrated. Their defense knew Texas couldn't run the ball. They knew running was not a threat for them, so they just drop guys back to pass, and they knew Dominic Sue was way too big for any one guy on the Texas offensive line to handle. So that's what happened there. Nebraska's overrated. I don't think they'll go and do much in the Big Ten, personally. I think Missouri might have a couple good seasons, but other than that, other than, the occasional good season like they had in the Big 12, I don't think they're going to do much there either. So I really think you're just narrowing down the level of competition in the Big 12. You're getting rid of some of the teams that never really competed anyways. I think you might get a little bit more competitive nature out of Tech and A&M now, because they're gonna, the winner of the Texas-Oklahoma game now, there's less teams to play. Missouri was a team who occasionally could, ruin a season for Texas or Oklahoma, and on a rare occasion, you might have seen Nebraska do the same. However, now you have less teams. You have the 10-team Big 12, which doesn't really make much sense, but okay. It's not like Iowa State is going to come up and do anything. Baylor is probably not really going to do anything either. You might have a rare occasion where A&M comes up and just sneaks up on Texas, because that's what their season is made of. It's the opportunity to beat Texas. You might have Texas Tech do the same thing. But for the most part, I don't think you're going to see that. And I just think that the winner of the Texas-Oklahoma game, it'll be like in the Big Ten before Michigan started, with their downfall. I think they're back on the rise to power, but at any rate, the winner of the Texas-Oklahoma game will be the winner of the Big 12 now. And most likely the winner of that game will be in the championship game, in most cases, because they're not going to lose to another team, unless there's just two severely high-powered teams. You're not going to get two SEC teams. I don't know that the Big Ten, other than Ohio State, is ever going to be good enough to get or win a championship game. Get into it or win. Ohio State's really the only threat there. USC's on probation, so for the next couple of years, they're not going to be much. I'm saying 5 years before they do anything of consequence again. So you pretty much got the SEC and the Big 12 and maybe Ohio State that's going to do something. So the winner of the Texas-Oklahoma game, and then the winner of the SEC. That's pretty much going to be the championship game. So I'm saying this coming year, it's going to be really interesting. I mean, not this coming year, excuse me, but in 2012, I believe, is when all this changes are being made. I'm not positive. I'm not 100% sure on all the ins and outs of it, but I do think in some ways this will help make the teams that are in the conference realize it's up to them to make this a competitive conference. Yeah. That's all I got.